Welcome to Boston Globe Sports Report Plus, where we're bringing you extra behind-the-scenes content from Super Bowl 60 here at Radio Row in San Francisco. I'm Ben Volin. My next guest, if you're on Twitter, social media, if you follow gambling or injuries with the NFL, you know this guy, Dr. David Chao. He goes by Pro Football Doc. Used to be the Chargers team doctor for 17 years. Now he analyzes injuries, mostly for NFL, but all across all sports. Dr. Chao was the first person who came out on social media and said, guys, Drake Maye's got a shoulder injury after that Broncos game. Sure enough, Drake Maye popped up on your injury report. Just curious, how did you come to make that analysis, and what's the feedback been?
Well, first of all, Ben, thanks for stirring that up. I thought I just got back into good graces with Patriots fans, But let me tell you something. Look, I don't pretend to have examined him. I'm not Drake Maye's doctor. Yes, it's just video. But in my 17 years in the NFL with the San Diego Chargers, I saw players on the field, on the sideline, in the locker room the next day after an MRI. I knew exactly what they had. But as you know, Ben, in an NFL building, everyone looks at film on Monday. Sometimes I'd have a player, I got hurt in the game, what happened? I don't know, let me look at film. I usually had half an hour to kill before meeting with the GM. So I'd go to the video room, they would show me the coaches' all 22 sideline copy, end zone copy, and TV copy, and there I knew exactly what the injury was. But I could see how it happened. Now I don't know exactly what the injury was, and so by video, I felt Drake Maye on that Hufanga tackle after 13-yard scramble had a mild AC joint sprain. Never said he wasn't going to play. Never, just said because it was new, I was more concerned about that than Sam Darnold's oblique that was old. It's come true and so forth. It's fine. I just got back from Patriots thing today, and he seems much more normal, just even the way he does his press conferences and stuff now. I have always been confident that he will play. I'm very confident that he will play. Look, the extra week, the super healing powers before the Super Bowl, the very powerful drug that every player's on Sunday, especially Super Bowl Sunday, adrenaline, maybe a little Toradol vitamin T like Sam Darnold's getting for his oblique. I'm not even sure he'll need an injection in the shoulder, but that's a possibility too. He's going to play. The bigger concerns are perhaps Spillane and Landry, right? But it's all good and all fun.
All right, so let's go back. You're talking the injury most likely, again, we don't know for sure, but most likely occurred late in the third quarter. Drake Maye had a 13-yard scramble. Hufanga, the safety for the Broncos, he tackles him, kind of drives him into the ground. And to me, you can see Drake right away kind of tapping his shoulder like, And he played through it, and he did complete a 31-yard pass afterwards. But it was kind of a lob, and the two throws where he needed max velocity, the throws were kind of all over the place. Now he's had, again, without knowing exactly what the injury is, but he obviously does have a shoulder injury. How do you think he's going to be affected maybe with like max velocity throws and things like that?
Look, and we saw two plays after that Hufanga tackle that he was in the huddle kind of doing this.
Yeah.
And then, yes, he completed the flea flicker. And as you say, it wasn't exactly a drive the ball throw. Drake Maye has been one of the best, if not best, deep ball throws all season. That's the question. What happens when he really drives the throw, throws it deep? I expect Coach Vrabel and company to let him air it out early, to test it out and show him what he's got kind of thing, and that'll be exciting to see. Look, he's going to play. He's done a great job. It's not an issue from my perspective, but it's fair to question what is his deep ball accuracy or when he has to really drive the ball. That's something we just need to watch for a little bit, and we'll see. I'm glad to see that little storm is over a little bit.
So an interesting part of your analysis, what led you to determine that he did suffer an injury, was you actually studied the press conferences after the Broncos game, and you compared it to the press conference after the Texans game, how Drake was just moving around. What did you notice after the Broncos game?
Well, look, when you talk, it's natural to use both hands. The left hand is, holding the mic right now. If I was holding the mic in the right hand, maybe I'd only talk with the left hand, but Drake Maye wasn't holding anything. And you could see he put some weight on his left arm and shoulder, and on the right side of his press conference, he was unweighting it. He was grabbing the side of the table to unweight it. And the posture, his shoulder was a little bit lower. And when he said, knock on wood, the weather isn't going to be like that in Santa Clara, he knocked with his left hand. I'm right-handed. When I knock on wood, it's usually right-handed. But those are small context clues. And when you compare it to Houston press conference, he was definitely using his right arm more. Look, that's all behind us and all this detective work, or as Bill Simmons said, Boston guy, Woodward and Bernstein.
Yeah,
you know,
something like that.
So
tell me what. So you were at Drake's press conference on Thursday morning.
Yeah.
What'd you see?
He looked completely normal, the way his affect and everything. So, he looked different than he did after the Denver game. So, I think the worry's behind us. Let's see what he can do on a deep ball, driving the ball, and let's look forward to a great game.
My one concern, though, is so as a Patriots fan, like I remember Jimmy Garoppolo back in 2016, the year that Brady got suspended. Jimmy Garoppolo suffered a sprained AC joint, and it knocked him out for 2.5 games.
Well, here's the irony of it, if you want to call it the trifecta. Jimmy G, this is the Brady 4-game suspension year, suffered an AC joint sprain that led to Jacoby Brissett playing. Jacoby Brissett was the veteran when Drake Maye was drafted, and in the final preseason game, first quarter, suffered an AC joint sprain and left the game, and Drake Maye came in. Now, you can argue, was it the shoulder or poor play of Jacoby, whatever it was that Drake Maye started, but Jacoby Brissett AC joint, it went Jimmy G AC, Jacoby Brissett throwing shoulder AC, to now Drake Maye throwing shoulder AC. So it's a funny little trilogy, I guess.
All right, Doc, before we go, tell me, other than Drake Maye, is there one injury for this game that you really think could have an effect?
Well, the two that we're watching clearly is Robert Spillane, and the other one is, of course, Harold Landry. Robert Spillane injured his left ankle. Look, I get he didn't return against Denver because of the snow. It's very hard footing anyways with an ankle injury. He says he's going to play. Look, he's a veteran. I'm confident that he can play. The question is, can he be the fantastic sideline-to-sideline guy? Harold Landry's been great this year, and we went back and looked. There was a Week 6 game against New Orleans where friendly fire Milton Williams, he hyperextends and Varus force to his right knee, where amazingly he returned to play that same game, played 80% of the snaps. That was a significant injury. We've seen some drop-off now lately. Look, it's going to be a coaching and roster decision if both of them play. They both want to play. They both can play. How effective is the question? But if you're Mike Vrabel, you want both those guys on the field.
Well, obviously, yeah. And the Patriots defense, it's night and day with Spillane on and off the field, their run defense. I think it's 4.6 yards per carry when he's off the field, 3.7 yards per carry when he's on the field. So that's his ankle, significant injury. And real quick, Nick Imanwari for the Seahawks all of a sudden injures in practice. Did you see the video of him limping out of the car?
I did, and that clearly is a right ankle sprain. And it's not related to the Week 1 right high ankle sprain that he suffered, where he missed 3 games. Why? You know this, Ben. It's padded practice, but you're supposed to stay on your feet. There's no crowd. It was defending a pass. So it's a standard inversion ankle sprain. And what's ironic is Pats fans that didn't know what I do evaluating injuries now seen Drake Maye. Now I've seen on Twitter they've actually followed and commented on Imanwari and they like that. But
it's okay when you do it for the Seahawks, just not for Drake Maye, the starting quarterback.
Well, and I get it. That's why fanatics. And here's the thing that I want to clear. I went to school in the Boston area. I'm actually a Patriots fan in a lot of ways. Look, I've seen Lonnie Paxson gave me a big hug. I saw Teddy Bruschi on the set of WA. We hugged it out. Doug Flutie, another Patriots. Of course, Junior Seau, Rodney Harrison. I actually am a Patriot friendly. I'm not an enemy to the Patriots.
Yeah, well, again, fans might have a different take, after the Drake Maye news. David, his website is Sports Injury Central, Pro Football Doc on Twitter.
And I'll give you another Boston reference.
Oh,
okay,
here we go.
Here we go. Okay, I literally have told my GMs this when they said, this guy's injured, oh my God, they were giving me a hard time. I literally told GMs this, and this is apropos to the Boston area community. I'm Paul Revere. I'm not the British. I'm not the one injuring the guy. The British are coming. I'm not invading. I'm just telling you what's here is all.
All right, well, hey, Dr. David Chao, former team doctor for the Chargers. Sports Injury Central is his website. Does a tremendous job analyzing injuries across the NFL. He's David Chao. I'm Ben Volin. Thanks a lot. We'll catch you more from Radio Row.